Welcome to Two Chairs, the conversation that explores issues of real life and offers real help to those in need. Capillary Human Services proudly presents this program as a public service and invites you to pull up a chair and join us for the conversation. Welcome to Two Chairs, the conversation. I'm your host, Rusty Jabbo, and in this episode, we'll be talking about problem gambling. But before we go farther, we want to dedicate this episode to our dear friend and colleague, Matricia Matt Green, who passed away and was the director, longtime director of this program. Matt was a wonderful person. She helped so many people, too many to count. And Matt's office hours were every hour of the day and night. She gave her cell phone number to people who needed help, and literally her office hours were anytime anyone called. And so as we talk about this important issue, and now we talk with Kelly Jenkins, who actually Matt mentored. Kelly is now the director of the Capillary Human Services Compulsive Gambling Treatment Program. I think it's very fitting that we dedicate this episode to her and her memory and her legacy that she left with you, Kelly. I know you're doing a great job and have been working for a number of years in this field.
Yes.
It's a specialized field of addiction recovery, and I'd like to ask you first, what is compulsive gambling, and how does it differ from other types of addiction?
Well, compulsive gambling is the need, the urge to escape. People with other problems that they are facing daily, like relationships, financial, they go to escape. So we call it the escape disease. Similar to substance use, you have the same effects and same outcomes. In substance abuse, you can lose your home, you can lose your family, and gambling is the same thing. With mental health, there is always a diagnosis associated with gambling, whether it's bipolar disorder, manic depression, or it is some depression, anxiety. These are all associated with gambling also. So there is a lot of similarities between substance abuse, mental health, and gambling. But there are also some differences. Some differences that I've experienced with gambling is that a lot of people don't want to admit that they have a problem. I feel like this program should be overflowing because of the number of people. And when I say number of people, I mean this is a $40 billion, a year addiction that people are just not willing to accept and really willing to admit that there is a problem.
I understand in Louisiana there's upwards of 200,000 people who have problems with gambling, not just gambling.
Right.
And now with the proliferation of gambling online, anytime, day or night, what are you seeing in your program and the effect it's having?
It used to be where you had to get up and go to the casinos or go to video poker. So you have to put on clothes, you have to drive, you have to, have gas money because some people go there with very little gas. But now there is social media platforms. There's gambling on all social media platforms. There's bingo where you play real money on Instagram, or they have things on Facebook games. So you don't have to leave your house. You can sit in your living room in your pajamas literally and lose thousands of dollars just like you would if you would go to a casino or to an establishment.
Let's talk about the losses of from gambling that you've seen and heard about in your practice. What are some of the things that people experience in their lives? Real losses.
Real losses is family. Wives have left their husbands. Husbands have left their wives. The family gives ultimatums. If you don't go inpatient or outpatient, then this is over with, and I'm not supporting you. And so they lose family. They lose relationships with their children because the children are not aware of what's going on. They just know that mom is gone for 12, 14 hours. I did have this case, this client that she didn't realize how damaging her addiction was to her daughter. Her daughter said that she would get her Bible and she would have say a prayer for her mom. She put her mom's picture in the Bible, and she would say a prayer for her mom to come back home. But she had no idea that her mom was just in the casino for many, many hours. All she knows is she might be gone for a day, or she may be gone for 2 days. But she just didn't know. She just wanted her mom to be safe. So people lose their houses. They go and they bet. When they run out of cash, they run through their line of credit at the casino, then they start basically pawning their belongings. They have had the pink slips, they have deeds. And what people don't understand either is not everybody and not every case makes a TV. People take their lives is much higher in gambling than it is in substance abuse and mental health.
I understand that suicide is a distinguishing factor, particular to compulsive gambling. Unlike other addictions, certainly other addictions lead to depression and can lead to suicide. But what's so different about compulsive gambling in your experience that becomes such a factor?
Because you lose so fast. I always use an example. I can give you $10,000 and I can tell you to go buy $10,000 worth of cocaine and use it. You might make it through, you might not. But I can give you the same $10,000 and tell you to go to the casino. You lose it in a matter of minutes. And losing so fast, so quickly, that's what triggers people to say, okay, I can't do this. I can't go home and tell them that I lost the house. I can't go home and tell them I spent the whole $10,000 at the casino. And so it just affects people in that way because it's so fast. You can lose so fast and so much in such a short period of time.
That's interesting because I've heard about the thrill of winning keeps them going. But now you're talking about the reality of losing also really keeps them going.
The chase. They chasing their losses. Okay, I spent $10,000, so now I really have to go back and get it because I really can't go home and tell my mom or my parents or my wife or my siblings, whatever, that this is what I did. So you go back chasing. You chasing the money that you lost. A lot of people also, they feel like this is a come up on them. I'm going to go and then I'm going to hit a jackpot. You may hit one jackpot, but how much have you lost just to win that jackpot? You know, you spent $5,000 and when you win a $2,000 jackpot, you thinking you on top of the world. But you spent $5,000 just to win the $2,000. You know, so that's another thing that is disturbing, and people won't take advantage of. This is free, it's confidential. You know, this program you can go inpatient. It's a facility in Shreveport. It's called CORE. It's free of charge if you're from Louisiana. If you're from the state of Louisiana, it's free for outpatient. So outpatient, inpatient, individual sessions. If you don't want to participate in a group session, we do one-on-one sessions. So, and also we just give them the support that they need. We have a after hours number. If they call, I've had several after hour calls that people are. The husband is calling and the wife is in the background screaming and crying, and he's saying if she doesn't go somewhere, if she doesn't do something, then I'm leaving. And she's crying, don't leave, don't leave. And so, please, ma'am, please help me. I said, okay, come to my office 8 o'clock in the morning. And I've had several calls like that. And so, because I try to get them in within 24 hours, 24 to 48 hours.
Earlier you talked about, as I heard it, the shame that people experience when they lose, maybe the disappointment, but particularly the shame. And you talked about how their family won't know about it. They won't tell them about it. I've heard of this as the hidden addiction. It's very, very difficult to know when someone's experiencing this. Can you talk a bit about that aspect and how it moves from I'm a gambler to I'm having extreme problems and I really kind of am by myself dealing with this. Right. That's how they feel.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Because they have such a tremendous amount of guilt and shame, that they don't know. Because you can hide it for years without even anybody knowing, family knowing, mom knowing, parents, whoever, they don't know because it's something that they're controlling at the time. So it becomes a problem, and I need help so bad. Please give me some help. Is when they no longer have that control. They don't have any control over that. They have to tell somebody, but they're so full of guilt and shame that it's very difficult to even say it in the beginning. Like, this is a problem.
Kelly, we've heard a lot about the issue of problem gambling and how many people are affected by it. How can people get help, and what kind of help do you offer?
We offer outpatient, we offer individual sessions, we offer family sessions. We're in the process of going to start a family group where we invite family members to come and express themselves, because that's what we did before. When I was talking about the little girl, she came to the family session and she shared with her mom this is what she was doing because her mom was absent. And so we want to be able to give you the information. We have plenty of information. All you have to do is call our number between the hours of 7 and 4:30. It's 225-362-5360. Or after hour, there is an after hours number. If you come in, we do an assessment. Everything is confidential and discreet. You come in, you check in, and you don't have to wait up front for anybody to call you. As soon as you come in, we get you and bring you in the office. And because I know that some, confidentiality is important to a lot of our clients. And so we have assessments that we complete, and then we determine the level of care. And the level of care may be that you need to go inpatient at core and then come to outpatient after you complete your inpatient of 28 days. And so, like I said before, the treatment is free of charge.
And if a person comes in, they will be tended to specifically for them, a treatment plan just for them.
Absolutely, because even though the symptom and the diagnosis is compulsive gambling or problem gambling, there are different things that need to be addressed. So we address different problems on the treatment plan that's catered to that person. And even the aftercare treatment and even the additional treatment. Some people will go and say that GA works for them. It works great for them. But the next person may not think that GA works for them, that going to church or having a sponsor that they can call on that's in the same predicament that they're in. And all of these things are different. So we have to treat the client different because they have different problems. Same diagnosis, different problems.
Well, Kelly Jenkins, I want to thank you for sharing the information with us in this segment. In our next segment, we'll talk with an actual client who's experienced real losses from problem gambling here in Louisiana.
Gambling can start as fun, but for some, it becomes a problem that takes over their lives. It's not just about losing money, it's about losing control, relationships, and peace of mind. But there's hope. You are not alone in this. Capital Area Human Services can help. Take the first step towards recovery. Reach out for support and regain control of your life. Call now and start your journey to a healthier, happier you.
In this segment of Two Chairs, I'm visiting with Michael, a client of Capillary Human Services in the problem gambling treatment program. Michael is not his real name. We're using that as protection for his privacy. But he is a client and has experienced real issues with gambling. And so I'd like to thank you for joining us today. And let's just get right into it. When did you first start gambling and experience any kind of issue that you felt like was...
I first started when gambling was legalized in Baton Rouge. I think that may have been about 25 years ago, but I wouldn't swear. And my first wife passed away, and I would go to the casino on Saturday mornings. And long story short, it just got to be more than just fun. And for me, for my wife, she was there to have a good time. She had a drink and went home. And, I stayed, and I'd go after work. I worked very near the river, so it was easy for me to go and spend time there. And it just got to the point where I was out of control. My wife investigated some options and told me that I could exclude myself from the casinos, which I did. I went and won in Mississippi and put $1 in the machine and hit a $12,000 jackpot. The minute that thing hit, state troopers were around me like gravy on rice. And they took me in a room and explained. I said, look, I wouldn't have done, I didn't know this was, he said, no, this is worldwide. You are excluded, you cannot go. But it didn't exclude me from video poker, and that was my downfall. I could go over into the West Baton Rouge area where a lot of the casinos are because it's legal over there. And my money just went and went and went.
What was your life like before gambling?
Normal. I finished LSU. I married my high school sweetheart. We had 2 children, boy and a girl, and basically I was into family.
But you were a working professional, duly employed, and had what most would consider a really good life.
Yes, it was a good life. Yeah. Yeah, it was. I mean, things were rocking along pretty good until I began to win a few hands at video poker, and then thought I could win every time I went, and of course you can't. And it just got worse and worse and worse and worse. And my wife a couple of times told me, look, if you don't quit this, we're done. And I love you, and I don't want to be done. And I said, I don't either. So for a while I quit, but it kept calling me back. I felt like I needed to be there to have a good time. And never did I go there and drink. Never. Because the ride from Port Allen to Baton Rouge, I might have got stopped. So I never did. But I continued up until maybe 2-3 years ago when this program became apparent to me. And Kelly and her staff helped me immensely.
Were there certain triggers or things that would prompt you to have an urge to go and gamble?
When you win a jackpot, that I would, instead of taking it and going to the bank, I would put it right back in, and did that almost constantly. As far as an urge to go, boredom is one thing. Sometimes when things don't go right in your domestic life, you look for other alternatives. As I got older, I began to lose friends that I had known forever, and it just filled a void, wrong kind of void, wrong kind of fill. I went through a 401k in record time, and it was close to $100,000 in a matter of a few years. And I found myself, when I got paid, I didn't have any money left. I began to borrow. Borrowed from several small loan companies, both in this area and online. And I was robbing Peter to pay Paul, and and my wife said, you're gone if you don't stop.
How much money would you estimate that you lost overall in gambling?
Well, I know I lost close to 100. I'd say maybe 250,000.
Did you ever lose or at risk of losing your possessions, repossession of car?
Actually, I was blessed. No, I think I was smart enough to draw the line at some point, but then that's when I began to rob Peter to pay Paul, and it just got worse and worse. And you've got to stop, and I have stopped over the past couple of years.
How has the program helped you, and do you feel like that you truly have turned a corner in your life?
Yes, I have, because my marriage of 10 years is, I think, very productive, and we're happy, and I just feel more energetic. I enjoy my faith immensely, and I just feel comfortable with what's going on today.
Is there any counsel or advice you would have for someone who might or might not realize that they have a problem?
See, the thing about this program, which I would put that first on my list, in fact, really only on my list. One good thing, obvious thing, is it doesn't cost anything. And if you can come and meet with Kelly and her staff once a week for an hour and a half, it doesn't cost you anything, just a ride over town. Why not do it? If that doesn't invite you, I don't know what will. One of the things I liked about Kelly, she and her staff allow you to approach it on your own terms. And I said, I'm just going to pray. I'm going to come here when I need to. I'm going to call you when I need to. And that's what I've done. And it's helped me enormously.
Anything else you'd like to add?
Thank you for doing this. I think if somebody sees it that knows they have a problem, or thinks they have a problem, this will be a very good starting place.
Well, thank you for joining us, and we wish you the very best in your recovery. I'm sure it will continue.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate it.
And thank you for joining us for this episode of Two Chairs. Please join us again next time.